Okay, and people should have in mind tomorrow morning, if possible, guys, by Shachris, have in mind Sora Baschaya. Sora Baschaya is the wife of one of the members of Asher who is having a 7-hour surgery, according to the husband, to put herself back together again. So something, some serious thing. So, right?
David and Shane Ruffle, dear friend of mine, I came into the mountains to see
Yeah.
he's having a major surgery tomorrow morning.
Okay, so David mentioned Rachel, you put out a reminder on the chat. Okay, I'll try to put out a reminder on the chat. Okay, we're up to Kuf Yud Aleph on the base. Kuf Yud Aleph on the base. The Mishnah had said that if you have a katan that is married, that is miyabim or katana, that you should wait till they get older. Meaning they can't give a get. No, you can't free her. In the state of being a cotton, you cannot free her because the cotton's get is not a get. So you get older. Now we have a halacha psuka that we've mentioned many times, is that Reb Meir is chayish l'miyuta. Mandy knows this all this time. Reb Meir is chayish l'miyuta. Reb Meir says you can't perform yibum or chalitza. We had a daf samach aleph on the base. You can't perform chalitza because the pasuk says ish, and we're makish ish leisha. Therefore, it has to be a man and not a cotton. And he can't perform yibum because maybe he'll be a sris, sheminim's a sris, or maybe she'll be an islandess. And therefore, Yechayish L'miyuta, since most people are not srisim, most people are capable of fathering children, and most women are not islandess, most women are capable of having children. So therefore, Meis Chayish L'miyuta, so therefore you would not be able from Chalitza V'yibim. So the Mishnah is going to, so the Gemara comments, says the Gemara Lema on Kuf Yud Aleph on the base, Lema Masnisan, like Remeya. Let's say the Mishnah is not like Remeya. The Tanya Cotton V'Katana, Lei Cholzim, Lei Miyamim. A cotton and a katana, like cholzim, because again the pasuk says ish. So therefore, when our Mishnah, the first case of our Mishnah is a cotton married to a katana, al yidei yibum, pashtus is not according to Reb Meir. It says the Gemara, afilu temer Reb Meir. You could say our Mishnah is going to Reb Meir. Kiyam Reb Meir. When does Meir say is din that a cotton should not be married? That's gedola le cotton, the katana le gadol. That means a gedola to a cotton, and a katana to a gadol. The chad minayo bia disuru, because one of them is the bia of issa, either the cotton or the katana. Aval cotton abal katana, it's shavayu ki adadi ninu, but the cotton that's bal katana, where they're both in the same boat, loy, then Reb Meir would be reminded that they could marry. So in other words, Reb Meir chayish l'miyuta is only one-sided. If one of them is in this, where one of them is an issa, but if they're both a heta, meaning both at the same level, then we want to suggest that Reb Meir could be the Tana of our Mishnah. Now if you look back in the Mishnah, guys, that's problematic to say this pshat, because look at the second case in the Mishnah. Yavam cotton shabala yavam katana, yigadu zem zeh. Ba al yavam gedola. If the yavam was a cotton lives with the gedola, tigad lenu. Again, it says they go together. But according to you, Reb Meir, how could you have a case of a yavam with a gedola? How could you have? He says it's asa. Yet our Mishnah is describing a case exactly that you just said Reb Meir would disagree with. So Pashtus Reb Meir cannot be the Tana of our Mishnah when we consider a case of a cotton with a gedola. So Reb Chanina Chazai says Reb Chanina ba shiny. It means ba when that you could do it, but if you did do it, so meaning the Mishnah says if you did do it, then you grow old together, meaning until you're 12 or 13. Fred the Gemara, how could you say that? You go get older together, which would be in other words, it's not shot guys, a one-shot deal and then you're stuck with each other. If it's a gadol or a katana, then each bia is going to be one of us, like Reb Meir that Yechayish L'miyuta. So when the Mishnah says to Kadlevi, you keep on going, obviously it can't be what speaking about the case of Reb Meir. Ella on Kuf Yud Aleph on the base, El Mechavarta, it's correct. Masisa and the like Reb Meir. Our Mishnah is not like Reb Meir. He cannot be the Tana of our Mishnah. Okay, he can't be the Tana of our Mishnah. Okay, we're 5 lines down where it gets white. Now, Fred the Gemara question: how could you have a cotton be miyabim at all? After all, the pasuk says, "Kari kan lahakim la'achiv shein v'hai lav bar hachihu." We spoke at Be'arichos. The whole purpose of Yibum is to go ahead. We spoke at Derech Soid from the Malbim to bring back the nefesh of the dead person that is in the wife, that's currently in the bottom of the wife. So that's what the brother does. And then the child born is not, it's not a Gilgal, but it is the dead brother. So the whole purpose is reproduction. So how can you begin a cotton who's not capable of producing a child? Fred the Gemara, how could you have forget about Rameya. Forget about Rameya. A cotton, stomach cotton can't have a child. It's not potent. So how can you do that? So Fred the Gemara, having a cotton in the parsha of Yibum would go ahead and be counterintuitive to the whole parsha of Yibum. So Amar Rabbi says, the pasuk says, Yevama Yava Eleha. It says Yevama Yava Eleha. Har Yavam comes onto her. When it says Har Yavam, Kaldahu. Anyone that's the Yavam. So the Gezeres HaKosav that anyone was the Yavam, Afilu a cotton would be able to do it. So it's Gezeres HaKosav. Rabbi says no. B'lav hochinami le'em what's this amit. Even without the pasuk of Yevama Yava Eleha, in Svara, it's not possible to say that the cotton could not do it. You know why? Because why would you have to say, guys, if the whole purpose is outside, guys, if the purpose of Yibum is to produce a child, so you'd say, well, you're a cotton now, you can't. Just wait till you get older, and then you'll go ahead and be able to perform Yibum. That's what you would say. But since we learned Masechta Yevamis, we wouldn't say that. Because why do we know from Masechta Yevamis? Any Yavam that's not Roy B'Shas Nefila is Asna Mishum Eishes Ach. In other words, it has to be, we learned in the Teratz Masechta, it has to be at the time of the death of the brother that the other brother is seen to be the possible zivug of the dead, of the wife, correct? Now, if you're telling me that it's asa, why? Because he can't produce a child, but later on it would be, since it's asa at the time that the brother died, it won't be permitted later on. It must be that what? That it's mut at the time the brother died. So it says Rava in Svara, it has to be that the Yavam is permitted, even without the pasuk of Yevama Yama Allah, Yavam Koldahu. Even without that, we know in Svara it has to be that the cotton would be permitted, or else it would go against the whole Yesod of Masechta Yevamis. Says the Gemara inside, Rava Amar, Bilav, without the pasuk of Yavim Allah, hachanami lamatzas amit that the cotton would not be permitted to be miyabing. Miyakamidi the hashta isirale. Right now it's asa. Why? Because he's a cotton. Well, a bus is shaita, but after a while, when he grows up and able to father a child, sharia. How could why? I from Yehuda Marav call Yevama Sheina Nikair b'Shas Nefila Yevama Yava Allah. Guys, remember any Yevama that I don't say at the time of Nefila Yevama Yava Allah. It'll be like your wife that a husband's his brother had children, and it'll be asa. Can't, guys. Such a good svara. Say maybe the cotton's out of the ballpark. If brothers are in this world, even a child that's 1 year old, that's yeshu achtav in the world, will say Yevama Yava. It says, let's do a Rashi, first wide line. Afilu ben yoim echad, yeshu yachtav kamar kra. Yevama Yava Eleha. If no, im yeshu achim yachtav, afilu 1 day, then what? Yevama, har yavam, that 1 day old kid, Yava Eleha, he will go ahead and live with her. Afilu havi mashma koldahu. And even if the Yavam Yava is not mashma, a child koldahu, misvara shayale, Bikatnas to Ka'amar. In Svara, you would say Bikatana that it had to be mutter, or else you would not say that Yevama B'Shas Nefila would be permitted later on. So Baruch Hashem, and nice Gemara with the Yesodis that we're familiar with. The second din of the Mishnah, let's go back to the Mishnah. The second din of the Mishnah. Hayevama Sha'amra B'Toy Shloshim Yaim, the Yevama that says within 30 days, guys, 30 days of the marriage, not 30 days after the death of the brother. 30 days of them living together. Good. She says, I didn't have relations. And meaning what? I am not married to him, but I still have a zika. Then we'll force him to go ahead and do chalitza. Guys, we're going to say, the Gemara is going to say a concept that within 30 days, a person is not, he can refrain from marital relations for 30 days if he's uncomfortable. Up to 30 days. After 30 days, it seems to be the natural instinct of me takes over and you won't be able to withhold yourself. But up to 30 days, you can withhold yourself. So she's believed. Since there's a svara to say that he wasn't boilha, she's believed to say that I'm still a Yavam L'Shuk, and therefore, Kaifin I say. La'achar shleishim yom, after 30 days, then mevakshin himenu sheyach litzla. Then we'll go ahead and ask him to do chalitza. Then we'll go ahead and ask him to do chalitza. Good. Now, why would he want to do chalitza? We saw Tosfos yesterday. A person is not so inclined to go to Beis Din to have someone spit at him, right? So that's why he might be inclined. Okay. So those two dinim are. Let's see the Gemara inside. How the Gemara goes ahead and explains that, elaborates upon the din of the Mishnah. Yevamot shomer b'tosh shleishim yom. Man tana dad tilsin yomim mukim inish anavshe. Who's the Tana that up to 30 days the person can withhold himself? Now it has to be can withhold himself because she's believed. So if she's believed, meaning what they didn't have relations. So who's the Tana that says up to 30 days? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Meir. Again, it's a Tana Rabbi Meir, the Tanya. Tainus besulim kol shleishim yoim. Tainus besulim shleishim yoim. B'ez Hashem, guys, we're going to get to Masech Ksubis, and you have Tainus besulim. What's Tainus besulim? Man gets married. And he's chayshed that his wife is not a besula, so he has a tiny besum. What's the time frame for that? Is there a time frame for that? That you can go ahead and say tiny besulim? So it says Rameya says is called shleishim yom. Why? Because it could be that he didn't have relations with her up until 30 days. So up until 30 days, he didn't have relations. If you have a capacity of tinus of psulim of 30 days, meaning you have a 30-day time frame, which is possible for you to withhold. After 30 days, then you don't have tinus psulim. But within the 30 days, you have tinus psulim because why? It's possible to withhold yourself. So he will be the time of the Mishnah who says the same thing over here, that the Yevamot is believed to say on the Balti. It's 30 days. Again, right now it's a digression. We're not discussing subas. I understand. We wanted again 30 days. It had to be 30 days. If she got when is she coming? If 31st days is not 30 days. 31st days is not 30 days. That's what I'm saying too. Okay. So the Gemara. Rabbi Yossi says nistera la'alter. Once they're behind closed doors, immediately. In other words, forget 30 days. Immediately, Imamish Aysay. The first day of Beis Din is in jurisdiction. If they're not together, I feel in other words, it has nothing to do with time. It has to do with were you or not? Were you behind closed doors or not? If you're behind closed doors immediately, if you wasn't behind, then Rabbi says, so now who's the Tana of the Mishnah? Rabbi, because like Rabbi Yossi, you won't have 30 days. Says Rabbi, no, I feel with him, Rabbi Yossi. I'd kind of like Rabbi Yossi Hassam, the gospel. Here's Arusa guys. They've been together for 12 months, 12 months. They're engaged, they're comfortable with each other. So since there's a comfort level, the assumption is that when they're behind closed doors, that they had relations. Aval Eishes Achiv, your brother's wife? How comfortable could that be? Mivza buzzes mine. He's embarrassed from her. So even Reb Yossi would be maidat in our Mishnah that when it comes to your Yevama, your brother's wife, you have up to 30 days. The dinner time is besulim by your arusa, where you engaged her, and gaspa, you're right. Rabbi Yossi says right away. Mashenke, when it comes to Yevama, Rabbi Yossi will be maida. So Rabbi Yossi could be the time of the mission of 30 days, the same thing as Rabbi Meir. Now, so what's the din, guys? She's believed to say what? She's believed to say what? There was no bia, correct? Right. So what did the Mishnah say? You do chalitza. Why don't they say do yibam? I mean, obviously, you started out to do yibam. You went behind closed doors with her. You wanted to be miyabma. It wasn't like you said right away, I don't want her. You went behind closed doors to do yibam, correct? So now, within 30 days, she comes and says, he didn't do it. And we believe her. And so we do kaifin to do chalitza. Fred, great kasha. Why do you force the chalitza? Why don't you force yibam? What? Where? But again, it doesn't say he didn't want to do the job. In other words, says the Gemara. So if you don't do it, so then give chalitza. If you didn't want to do chalitza, in other words, he didn't do chalitza back. In other words, if you didn't want to do chalitza, in other words, if he didn't, he should have done the chalitza. That he didn't do yibum doesn't show he doesn't want yibum because if he didn't want that, in other words, there was a way out earlier. Yeah. Says the Gemara. So now. Until you force it to go ahead and do chalitza, why don't you force him to do yibum? And for the Gemara, Amar Rav, you know what it's talking about? She has a get. Now, guys, the havmin is this is a get of gerushin. Let's go back to our Yevamos klal. What happens if a man goes ahead and gives a get? Kivin shaloi bana, shuv lo yivne. What does he have to do? He has to give a chalitza, right? So you want to know why you can't do Yibum because there's a get over here. So what's her taina, guys? What's her taina? What's her taina? Her taina is the get was given to Pasel from Yibum, and he claims he was what? He was miyabim her, and this get is a get of Gerishin, and Chalitza is not required. In other words, it's a machloikus exactly what the get is. Guys, beautiful. She shows up with a get. She says he wasn't boil me. So what does the get do? All the get does says you can't be miyabim anymore, which would answer our question. That's why we forced the chalitza. We forced the chalitza because you can't do yibum. Since she's believed and she says he wasn't boil. If he wasn't boil, what can a get do? If he wasn't boil, then I'm not the wife. I'm not a wife. And if I'm not a wife, the only way to get rid of me is Yevamot l'shuk that can break the zika is with what? With chalitza. And his time is no, I was boil her. Memela, she was my wife. By being boil her, I took care of the zika. And this get is a get of gerish into divorce her. That's the two stadim over here. Those are the two sides over here. Makes a beautiful sense. So that's why when the Mishnah says that you force chalitza, it's speaking in a hechatimsa where's the get. So Amarab b'sheget yoytz mitachas yada. Neisive. You say it's speaking where a get came on from out. Here's the following question. Yevamot she'amra b'toy shloshim yoyim. The Yevamot that claims within 30 days, loy nevalti, I didn't live with him. Ben shu oimer ba'alti, whether he disagrees. Ben shu oimer loy ba'alti, whether he agrees. We're going to go ahead and force him to give chalitza. After all, she's believed. La'achar shloshim yoyim, then mivaksheni menu shiach litzla. She's not believed, so therefore, since she's not believed, we just ask him to do chalitza. We don't force him to do chalitza. Now, after 30 days, guys, he oimeres nevalti. After 30 days, she says, I did have relations with him, and I'm his wife. For who am loy ba'alti, and she's still a Yevamot l'shuk. So what do? Harizeh yoitza beget, right? She then, in that case, she goes out with a get. Right? Then she goes out with a get. Why? Because he said a lot, loy ba'alti. He omeres nevalti, and she's not believed. If she's not believed, then what? So not believe. So here not. So what I'm missing something over here. Is this after 30 days? After 30 days. After 30 days, right? This is after 30 days, right? After 30 days, right? So it's after 30 days. She's claiming what? What does she go out with? If she's claiming after 30 days that what? She said nevalti. For who I didn't, right? Now she's believed after. Why she believed after 30 days? Why she believed after 30 days? Oh, I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with Ne'emanis, guys. Because after 30 days, he's not believed because he can't hold himself back after 30 days. I'm sorry. You know, this has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do, guys. Guys, one more time. It has nothing to do with Ne'emanis over here. Since it's after 30 days, we're going to say what he did. Yeah. So once he did, why does she not anymore? If he did, she's not a Yevam anymore, correct? So there's no chalitza. She's an Eishes Ish. So what do you need? A get. Good, beautiful. Okay. So here, she says, no, she says, but we don't care. We don't believe him anymore. Why? It's after 30 days. Harizu yoytze beget. Now, however, who am ba'alti? He says, I did. I didn't. Now, even if he says, I didn't, sarach get the chalitza. You need to get the chalitza. Why? Why do you need to get for chalitza? Because the get for the relations, and shavi anafshi chatuch the surah, she says he wasn't with me. So since she said she wasn't with me, she's saying I'm a Yevamot l'shuk. We have a concept, guys. A person goes ahead and makes something asa. Shavi al nafshe, a person can make himself chaticha, a piece, isura visa. She said, I didn't have relations with him, meaning I'm a Yevamot l'shuk. So according to her words, she needs chalitza. Get you need, why? Because it's after 30 days, right? So therefore, you need to get for chalitza. Now, when it says over here, you need to get for chalitza, must be speaking until now. There was no get. How can you sign the whole case of the 30 days? Is speaking where what? There was a get. It's mashma when we're introducing get now. Before there wasn't a get. That's the kasha. Okay, that's the kasha. And for the Gemara, Amar Rav Dimi tzricha chalitza gamgi im gita. No, when it says you need, it's not pshat that chalitza is the given and you need the get. No, the get's the given. You have the get, but in addition to the get, you need a chalitza. Tzricha chalitza im gita, but the get's been there all along.
Which one you prefer?
Right?
That was there all
It's
along.
irrelevant. Right? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Again, you need to get the get over here is the beit chash of marriage, and the chalitza is the zika.
Right.
Yeah.
She's being by stating that she has a get. That means
She didn't say no. She's saying this get is what? What is a get of zika? You know, this get is a get of zika to asa the evil, but she would still need a chalitza. No, again, this parak is a geschmack because it really is a big chazara of Yesodus of Yevamis. Rav Ashi Rav Ashi is not. Here's a big difference. Hasam get lezikasai, hacha get lebiyasai. Guys, there's a big difference. In the first case, guys, there's a chalukei deis over here. In the first case where she has a get at 30 days, that's not a get for gerushin. That's a get for zika. That get was to break the nurse. I can't do yibum. That get was not to divorce. She said what? If before 30 days, she said what? He wasn't with me. He says I was. She shows up with a get. We believe her. If she says he wasn't with me and shows up with a get, what could that get do? It can't break a marriage. There's no marriage. So all it could do was asa the yibum, which it does. The Gemara's kasha was, why do we force chalitza and not yibum? I'll tell you why you force chalitza. Since there's a get, you don't have the option of yibum. Over here, after 30 days, this get is not for the purpose of going ahead and stopping a chalitza. It's why he says that he's not believed to say I didn't live with her. Since he lived with her, what is she? An eshes ish. What's the get? Get of gerushin. So therefore, it's not a kasha. You said that why you need to get over here. Mashma, you don't need to get before. No, there's two different getting. The first one was speaking about a get l'sikasai. This is speaking about a get what of gerushin. Very geschmack. Very very nice. There it's Gemara is nice and clean. Now shnei moida, hanu shnei moidim. There were two people. They were moidim. Two people came and they were moida that to the following. What's the case? The Asla Kamei the Rava. They were moida that what that they were moida that there was no beer. They were moida there was no beer. That was happened. The Isha said after 30 days, I wasn't. He says I was, and then he goes back and says I wasn't. So they're both moida that you weren't, but it's after 30 days. So what do we say? You need a get because we say the guy did it, and you need a chalitza because shavi anafshi chadi surah because she said she did. Guys, one more time. It makes a lot of sense. If they're both moida after 30 days, that not. After 30 days, what's I given? He was with her. No matter what he says, he was with her. Once he was with her, what is she? An eshes ish. However, she said he wasn't with me. She's believed to say what? That I'm a Yevamot l'shuk. To be, how do you get rid of Yevamot l'shuk? Chalitza, very geschmack. So you don't have to think, it works. So now, Hanu, there were these two people, Shnei Moedim, Dasla Kamei the Rava, Amul Rava, Chalutza lahu, V'shari like Tigra. Go ahead, give a chalitza and end the discussion. You're both Moida. Guys, he was Moida and he wasn't boiled. First he said he was, then he was Moida not. Shnei Moedim that you weren't. So what did Rava address, guys? He only addressed her concern. He said, only addressed like Ba'alti that you're Yevamot l'shuk. Amalei Rav Sharavia l'Rava Vatanya Tzricha get v'chalitza. It's not enough for chalitza. You need a get. You know why? It's after 30 days. Amalei Tanya says, but Rav Einachnami. If that's what the Brisa says, that's what the Brisa says. And I just stand or sit corrected. I don't know what position he was in at the time of the psak. Says Gemara, boy, okay, guys, geschmack, very good, very geschmack. Very nice Gemara. Boy, what? Yeah. My son has made it to the Gemara. Right? Boimine hon berei the Rav Nachman. I guess not. The son of Rav Nachman. The Rav Nachman. Sarasa mahu. What's the din of the tzara? In other words, this woman needs chalitza. Does this pata the tzara? Does this pata the tzara? So Amalei, just because this woman says she was, or after 30 days we don't believe that he was not. Should we ask the tzara? It doesn't make any sense. Says Rashi. that we go ahead and we force or we can coerce or we discuss and say that she needs a chalitza, the EU shavya nafshi l'chatich l'isura, because she made herself into a piece of issa. Nesra tzurasa, vaday mitzvah. Tzura is not asa. The chazaka, kohen says isha boil alta. If a chazaka, someone marries his wife, is boiled right away. So in other words, whatever she says is concerning to her. You can't extend her issa to it's a good say to know. You can't extend the issa, her issa to the tzara. Okay, we're up to the Kufya Beis Amid Aleph, the two das. Hanaderes Hana, the third din in the Mishnah. Okay, so guys, let's go through it. We discussed the first din of the Mishnah, the din of what? Of Ketana. We ascertained that it's not according to Reb Meir. Good. We discussed the second din of 30 days, and we said it's speaking to Yukimta, where they have a get, and that get is going to get. She is the get before 30 days. She's believed to say the get is what? He wasn't boiled within 30 days, so the get is to go ahead and ask the yibum. Therefore, you need a chalitza. He is the get gerushin, and don't do the chalitza. Kamashmal and that what? Before 30 days, she's believed. After 30 days, to forget about his belief, he's not believed to say I didn't. Now, the last din of the Mishnah, let's see, go back to the Mishnah, the last din of the Mishnah, the third din, Hanaideres Hanami Yevama. A woman, she says that I do not want to have, my brother-in-law should not have any hana from me. My brother-in-law should not have any hana from me, period. Okay? B'chayi baila, if she made that b'chayi baila, her husband then consequently dies, she falls to Yibum. She's also b'hana to her Yavam. Nonetheless, we force him to go ahead and give chalitza because we don't think she had in mind to ask her brother-in-law. La'acha misa, if she makes it after misa, Mrs. Baila, if she makes this neder after Mrs. Baila, then mevakshni menu shiachlitza. We will make the request, but not force him to go ahead and do chalitza. However, when the skavnu lekach, if you mechaven afilu b'chayi baila, if she's mechaven to asa the brother-in-law, even b'chayi baila, mevakshni menu shiachlitza will be mevakesh, right, to go ahead and do chalitza. Okay, that's what this says. The Gemara is going to bring in a case. And then the Gemara is going to bring in a Gemara to be paishet the case, the Shaila in the Gemara. Tanan Hassel, Mishnah in the Dorim. Or Rishayna initially, Haya Oimrim, Shalesh Natzim, Yaitzais, 3 women, they get divorced based upon what they state. The Noitless Kasuba, and they get the Kasuba. Who are these women? Number 1, the wife of a Kohen says the following. I am tamei to you, meaning I was forced by another man. She's not making herself into a Russia, another Mitzvah Russia. She's saying I was forced by another man. We know that a Kohen, an Ashes Kohen, who is forced is also to a husband. So initially we said she's believed and she'd go free. Hashemayim beini u'leveincha. Shemayim is between me and you. Rashi says that you can't have relations. Tosfos says that you're incapable of fathering a child, right? Third case. Ani mina Yehud tuli ani mina Yehudim. I am taken away from on Yehudim, meaning I can't have relations with any Yehudim because tashmish is difficult for her. It's hard for her to have relations. So therefore, she's making a neder not to live with anyone Jews. In all these cases, we'd say she'd get divorced and retain her kasuba. Chazu laimar. You know what? If she has an out over here, maybe she's not being totally truthful. Maybe the reason she's using this halachic loophole is to marry another man. Maybe she has a desire to marry another man. So therefore, they changed. What initially was okay b'rishona, they went ahead and changed. Ella ha'imeres temeya ani lecha. If she says that I was a nusa, Tavi Rayel Dvira. You have to bring a raya. It's not enough to state it. You have to bring a raya. The tulani min hashemayim beini leveinecha, right? The shemayim is between me and you. Then yasu derech bakasha says Tosfos. Yasu derech bakasha. Pirish ben etam. Yispalu lemakim. Daven to Hashem. V'yitin lembonim. And Hashem, you stay together. Daven and Hashem should give you children. V'rach. And this is Tosfos l'shitasai that she says you're incapable of having children. Barach Pirish Yasas Suda, be Faisa, make a Suda and be Faisa. That's it. All it takes is some food. Be Faisa. So that's the case of where she says Shemayim is between me and you. Netul ani me Yehudim, meaning I can't live with any Jew physically. Yefer chelka, she should go ahead and be made. He should be made for a husband can be made for a wife's neder. Should be made for his chelek, misham shaso, and live with her, right? Yehudim, and she'll be also on everyone else in the world. And she'll have a neder on everyone else in the world. So that's what they began. They changed. Okay, so 3 cases. Now, iboilahu netula ani mina Yehudim liyabem mahu to the yavam. What's the din if she says I netula mina Yehudim? Does that apply to what? To the Yevamot? Mi maskika daita the mayas baila enough lakama yavam that would enter her mind that she would die, that her husband would die, and she'd end up in front of a yavam, and therefore when she said netula mina Yehudim, it was going on the yavam as well. I lie or not? Maybe that was the one. Not maybe not. Says Rashi. Mi maskika daita the mayas baila beloy banim v'nafla kame yavam. And she'll fall in front of her brother-in-law. And she made the neder on that das and the bow. And therefore, the yavam can't go ahead and be made for. Shafilu bal made for the koidman. Bal can't be made for something that was before. She's asur. So if it was oisik adaite, it would be asur. Who would she ask herself on? Anyone that we mutter through gerushin. And what's the reason she made this neder? That the husband should not think she's looking at somebody else. That he went on to divorce her. So says Rashi, the shaila of the Gemara is the following. When she went ahead and said that she's in Tulam and Yehudim, me asagadaita the mayas baila enough lakama yavam and us on the yavam as well. I lie, or maybe she had in mind that only the people that possibly would be asa to her. If by mashenkin the yavam, which we mutter know, says no Rav Amma yavam ain't a kabal. Says Rav, the yavam is not like the bow, and therefore it's mutter liyabe. He doesn't have to be mefer, and therefore it's mutter liyabe. He's not kabal. Ushmul yavam harehu kabal. The yavam is like the bow, and v'asa without afara, and since you can't do afara, therefore what? It will be asa. So Rav says muta, and it's asa. Now, why do we bring this in? Rabbi Kavasi the Rav Mistabra to say that she's muta. Ditnan hanayderis hanami Yevama, a woman who's a mother hanami Yevama, the chayi baila kaifnei she achleitz. We force her to go ahead and do chalitza. We force the issue, right, to go ahead. B'chayi baila kaifnei she achleitz. The Misa, the Masaka Daita, and if you're saying that a Masaka Daisa, so that she had in mind to go ahead, why would you say Kaifin? Mivakshmi Boyle, right? In other words, maybe that was her kavana. Guys, maybe that was her kavana. So therefore, Mivakshmi Menu, it must be that like Rav, that it's not included. Again, if it's not included, then we force the Chalitza. If it is included, then Mivakshmi Menu, because she was the one who had that kavana. Says you can't bring a raya from the Mishnah. A Mishnah means speaking about a woman who has children, so therefore there's no yibum whatsoever. No yibum whatsoever. The cool says the Gemara, the kulei hai le masegadaita. To be kulei hai that her husband's going to die and the children are going to die in full in front of a yavam. To have that in mind, to asa, no, we don't have that. Aval ein labana mai then mevakshin. Now, but if she does have children, right? If she doesn't have children, then you're right. You're going to be mevakish. So again, that's our rule of thumb. If you could tell me the chiddush in one case, why do you have to tell me two separate cases? So adatani in this gavin lekach, if she had kavanah to ask the brother-in-law, afilu b'chayi baila mivakshim mimenu shiach l'tzloi. Why do you have to learn that case between the difference between when in the lifetime when the husband died versus the husband alive? Listening b'di day, you can go learn it in the case where the husband's alive. The medamam amurim b'sheish leibanim. When we say chayfin b'sheish lebanim, avalein lebanim mevakshim, right? So therefore, why do you have to learn a new case? Alashmamina leishna yesh lebanim leishna ein lebanim chayfin eslay kirav. Because why? Because leisagadaite shmamina you have a good raya that leisagadaite. Hajjan alacha beis shamai, hajjan alacha beis shamai, hajjan alacha beis shamai. Yeah, beis shamai is hard. Yes, beis shamai is hard. Okay, the following Mishnah, I hope you have your books. We did this, and some of the more difficult Blat and Beis Shammai, we went through case by case of different cases. Okay, we'll get the books in a minute. Let's start off. The first cases you don't need a book. Now we know a cheresh is kedushin is only kedushin derabanan. A cheresh kedushin is only kedushin derabanan. So cheresh shenatsa pikachas, a cheresh that marries a normal healthy woman. So they're married only rabbinically, only derabanan. Upikeach shenasas chareshes, or a normal healthy man that marries chareshes. Imratza lahaitzi, if he wants to divorce her, yoitzi he can. This is not speaking about Yibum, guys. It's speaking a regular case of what? Of marriage. If he wants to divorce her, he can. If he wants to go ahead and keep her, he could. Why? If she's a chareshes, just like he's koine beremiza, kachu moitzi beremiza, so too he be moitzi beremiza. Pikeach shenasa pikachas, a normal marriage. However, v'nischarsha, she then became a cheresh. Imratza yaitzi, if he wants again, he can be moitzi. He took her normally, but he can moitzi with a remiza. Imratza yikayim, if he wants, he can go ahead and keep her. Okay. Again, why can he divorce her? Because you don't need the for a divorce. We're going to see you don't need a das of the woman. So even the woman doesn't have a das, the man's able to go ahead and divorce chareshes. A cheresh can't divorce a pikachas. A cheresh can't divorce a pikachas. But a healthy man, a pikach can go ahead and divorce what? A filo against her will. Says the Gemara. Nishtatis, however, if she loses it, not that she's a chareshes, guys, not that she's a deaf mute, but nishtatis, she's deranged, then lo yaitzi. What's the difference? By a cheresh, since she can watch herself, if she gets divorced, I'm not worried about a man abusing her. Conversely, if she's nishtatis, if she's not normal, she has no protection. So we will not, the Rabbanan made a gezerah, the Rabbanan made a gezerah that you have to keep her. Nishtatis, you'd have to keep her in order to avoid the problem of another man abusing her. Nischaresh hu, on nishtatis, if he becomes, he's normal, and then he became a cheresh, or nishtato, he becomes deranged, she's messed over because he has no way. You need his das, and he's not a bal das. Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, why? What's the chilik by a woman who became a cheresh you can divorce? But a man who became a cheresh you can't. So they told Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, you can't go ahead and compare a man who's divorcing to a woman who gets divorced. As I mentioned, a woman is divorced with a will or without a will. Therefore, irrelevant whether she is what she is a chereshes or not. However, an ish can only be mitzi ritzaynai, and since he's what nischaresh or nishtatis, since he lost it, there's no way for him to give a get. Hey, Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgada. Now, Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgada is going to say something, and it's going to corroborate the response of the Chachamim to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri to make a chilik between a woman who became deranged and a man. Al chareshes, on a chareshes, she'sio avia. Now she's a chareshes. Her father married her off. When your father married you off, guys, the speaking the saiti lishazeh, that's a kedushin deraisa. Even though she's the chareshes, that's a kedushin deraisa. Yeah, she yoitzes beget, that she goes out with a get. So amruloi afsu kayotzeba. So this is the exact same case as an isha that when this charish. Guys, the isha before she lost it. Was it a kedushin deraisa? Yeah, right. It was. What happens when? So what happens? A man, a woman who is nischareshes and was married by her father is a kedushin deraisa. Yeah. Did he divorce her? Yeah. So just like the case where she was married by her father was a kedushin deraisa, you were able to divorce her. Who adin where it was kedushin deraisa because she was normal at the time of the kedushin, and later on she lost it. That you can go ahead and divorce her. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgada is substantiating the teretz that they gave to Rabbi Yochanan Nuri that you don't need the rutzin to divorce, and even from a kedushin deraisa you're able to divorce. Okay, Beis Achin Chershin, you have two brothers that are Chereshin. So everyone across the board, guys, is Correct. They're all hearing impaired. Oy l'shtei achayos pikachos, or two mutes are married to two healthy women. Oy l'shtei achayos achas chereshes v'achas pikachas, or two, one is healthy and one is a chereshes. Oy beis achayos chereshes, or they're married to two beis achayos chereshes. Nesun l'shtei achim pichim, to two normal. Oy shnei achim chereshin, oy l'shnei achim echad cheresh v'echad pikech. Hari elu peturim min achalitza and min ayibum. In all these cases, guys, they're going to be part. It says Rashi, why? The hoyelu shteim chereshes, oy shteim chereshim, ki kedushe zu, kach kedushe zu, v'asi kedushe de ishtoi umafkia zika. Comes the kedusha. In other words, all the kedushin is equal. So since all the kedushin is equal, it's a case of achas zukukasa. You're married, right? It's just going to asa. So therefore, in all these cases that we just went through very quickly, there's no even whatsoever. However, if they were not sisters, and therefore you didn't have the achas zukukasoi, then what's the din? Yichnesu, then you go ahead, what? And you can do yibum, but not chalitza, guys, right? Because remember, cherish can't do chalitza. And if you want to go ahead and get divorced, then what? You can get divorced, right? Then if you want to see, you want to go ahead and get divorced. Why? Because since you went in Beremiza, you can go out Beremiza. Okay, that's the easy part of the Mishnah. Okay, now let's look at page 320, the next case. Page 320. Okay, top picture. Top picture. Hesh, you want to share with Mendy? It'd be nice. You have two guys. Picture two brothers. One of the brothers is a cheresh. That's the guy all the way on the right with the thing in his ear. Married to two sisters, right? So first, what's the din? If the one that was married to the cheresh dies, the din is that his wife, right? Then she is pata because she's achasisha. Again, the yavam is married to a sister. So this woman who is married to the cheresh, she's free. She's free. She's free, right? She's free. She goes free because it's achasisha. It's an erva. Easy enough. Next case to the left. Let's say it's the one that was healthy died. So now you have a kedusha deraisa, right, guys? This kedusha deraisa falling in front of a kedushin derabanan, because the cheresh kedushin is only derabanan. So what's the din? Moitzi ishte beget, right? He has to divorce his wife. Why? Because the zika deraisa of the brother deraisa is stronger than his kedushin derabanan because he's a cheresh. The eshes achiv asura la'olam, and he would not be able to marry his brother's wife because she can't give chalitza. He's a cheresh, and she's achis gerusha soy. She's what, the sister of your gerusha. You can't marry her. Guys, you got that one? Mm-hmm. You got it? Let's do it one more time. One more time. Let's look at the case. Remember, here's the key. A cheresh is kedushin is the rabbanon. So what you have over here, falling in front of a kedushin the rabbanon, you have a zika deraisa, because you had the healthy man married to the healthy woman, right? And now she's falling in front of the cheresh. The cheresh is married to a healthy woman. However, since the cheresh is a cheresh, it's the rabbanon. So now the cheresh has to divorce his wife because the zika of the brother, the raisa, is stronger than his kedushin the rabbanon. However, now the cheresh cannot be miyabim that woman because why? She is achas grusha so she's asa forever. Fascinating. Okay, let's see the case inside, guys. Shnei achim echad cheresh ve'echad pikeach nistu in the shtei achayos pikachas meis cheresh bal pikachas ma yaseh pikeach bal pikachas teitzei mishem achas isha. That's easy enough because the kedushin the raisa is going to push away the cheresh's wife. However, meis pikeach bal pikachas, and now falling in front of the cheresh is a healthy woman from a healthy man who's dead. Mayasa cheresh bal pikachas moitzias ishta. He has to divorce his wife. Why? Because the zika deraisa of the healthy one is stronger than the kedushin the rabbanon of his wife. The Eishes Achiv Asur La'olam, and the wife of his brother is Asher forever because it's Achas Ishtay, right? It's Achas Ishtay. Okay, next case, bottom, guys, 320 on the bottom. You got two brothers that are totally healthy. However, now you have one healthy woman and one unhealthy girl. Good. Let's go bottom right. What happens if the unhealthy one who married to the unhealthy one dies? Same thing again. No problem. She's the wife of the Yevam's wife. She's the sister. Excuse me. She's the sister of the Yevam's wife. She goes free as achasisha. Same as the case before. However, the next case gets really interesting. Now, if the healthy one dies and now she's falling in front of a healthy man, guys, so what happens? Moise Ishtay beget. He has to divorce his wife beget. Why? Because it's Kedusha D'Rabbanan. But it's achas what? Achas grusha so the eishes achiv b'chalitza, and therefore he can't go ahead and perform yibum. He has to go ahead what and do chalitza. He has to go ahead what and do chalitza. Let's see it inside. Shnei achim bichim nesul l'shtei achayes achas chereshes v'achas pikachas meis pikeach bal chereshes ma yaseh pikeach bal pikachas teitzim shemachas isha ma pikeach bal pikachas ma yaseh pikeach bal chereshes moitzi asishtei beget v'es eishes achiv b'chalitza. Okay, page 321, top line. Two brothers, right? One brother's a cheresh, she's married to a chereshes. One brother's healthy, married to a healthy woman. Good. Now, unhealthy one dies, so you have falling in front of the healthy one. Very easy. Right? If you have a kedusha deraisa intact, you got a zika derabbanon. Goodbye. Next case on the left. However, if the healthy one died, moitzias ishtay beget. Of course, again, the zika of the rice is strong in the kedusha derabbanon. Ve'eshes achiv asur la'olam, and what she's also you can't do chalitza because he's a cheresh. Nor can you get married to her because it's the what? It's achas gerusha soy. Same concept repeats itself. Let's see it inside. Shnei achim echad cheresh v'echad pikeach nesuah shtei achayos. They're both married to ones. The achas chereshes. The cheresh is married to the chereshes. The achas pikachas and the pikachas is married to the healthy woman. Meis cheresh bal cheresh mayasa pikeach bal pikachas teitchim shemachas isha. Meis pikach bal pikachas mayasa cheresh bal chereshes moisei she's to beget. V'ishtei achiv asur la'olam. She's asked him forever. Again, she's asked him forever because again it's achas. You can't do chalitza because he's a cheresh and also she can't marry because it can't do yibum because it's what it is achas grusha sa.
Just as a world.
Asur la'olam, right? She's stuck, right? Yeah, she's stuck. Yeah, she's stuck. Now, bottom of 322. Shnei achim echad cheresh v'echad pikachas nesum shtei nachriyos pikachas. Right, so you have one man who's not healthy, one cheresh, one is healthy, married to two women who are not sisters. Good. So now the unhealthy one dies. What do you have? So either meis cheresh bal pikachas, or chayletz, or miyabim. So now it's not achos isha. It's not your wife's sister. It's a strange person. So he goes ahead, what? And he can go ahead and do yibum, no problem. What's to stop him, guys? His wife stays in fact stays together. The other woman is what is not related whatsoever. So it's a classic case of yibum. Go ahead, do yibum. However, meis pikachas, if he dies, right? Then he marries her, but he can't get rid of her. Why? Because you can't get rid of her. What? He can't give a get. What? His get's not strong enough, right? And he can't give chalitza, right? Right? Kindness ve'ena. What? Kindness. This is the bottom case. Kindness ve'ena mitzvah, right? You can't give chalitza, and once you do yibum, the gerushin of a cheresh is the rabbanan, so it can't take off the zika deraisa of what Right? You can't take off the zika deraisa. Again, the get is only the rabbanan, and the get is not strong enough to take off the zika. The mela is then you're stuck. He has to stay together. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, 322. 322. I mean, I could have read through the whole thing also, right? But I think this makes it much, right? Makes it a little more palatable. Okay, Shnei Achim Pikin. You have two healthy brothers. They're married to two sisters, not two not sisters, but one of them is a Chareshes. So now, if the Chareshes dies, the Kedushin D'Rabbanan is finished. Kindness, then no problem. He can marry her, and if he wants to divorce her, again, he doesn't need her consent. He can divorce her. Conversely, if the healthy one dies, then right? Therefore, healthy man, healthy woman, right? You're good. So they're not chriyas. So you have to do chalitza yibam.
The first thing can't do chalitza.
You can't do chalitza. Can't do chareshes. Let's see it inside. Shnei picking the sun based on chriyas. Echad pikachas echad chareshes. Meis pikachas ba chareshes. Mayasa pikach ba pikachas. Kindness. V'matzaloitzi yaitzi. Meis pikachas ba pikachas. Mayasa pikach ba chareshes. Oicholis lemiyabing. Okay. Finally, Shnei achim echad cheresh ve'echad pikachas. Case below. You have two brothers. One's a cheresh, one's not, and you have two nachriyos. One's a cheresh and one's not. They're matched up. The cheresh to the chereshes. Meis cheresh. So the bal cheresh kindness, he can do yibum to her, and he wants to l'haitzi yaitzi because he can divorce against the will. Meis of the healthy one dies. Bal bikachas kindness, they might salaylam. He marries her, but again he can't get rid of her. Right? The get is not strong enough to get the rabbanon. Can't go ahead and break the zika. And he can't give chalitza because he is a cheresh, which we saw already. Shnei achim echad cheresh echad bikach and sul beis achot nechriyas echad cheresh echad bikachas meis cheresh ba chereshes mayasa bikach ba bikachas kindness ven matzil haitzi yaitzi meis bikach ba bikachas mayasa cheresh ba chereshes kindness ven matzil oilam. Because again, the get is not strong enough to break the zika, and you can't do a chalitza, so therefore you're stuck. Okay, tomorrow night 7:15, guys. Tomorrow I'll put it out again. Tomorrow night, 7:15, we're going to between the minyanim. There's a 6:45 minyan here for plag minyan. Then there's an 8:20 minyan over here. So I'm going to learn in between because I have a chasana.